Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Wishing you a brand new day filled with energy, peace, and great success. Dear friends, people often say, when you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. After successfully transforming a shabby mud hut into a dream home, former CEO Toan and his hardworking wife DM have proven to all of SimHill the true power of willpower and love. But you can't fill an empty stomach just by looking at a pretty house and smelling the roses. With their last bit of savings dried up and enemies in the shadows starting to close in, Toan is forced to make a decisive move to survive. Once used to signing million-dollar contracts, the former CEO is now hunched over sketching blueprints for a chicken coop. What exactly is Toan's $0 startup plan for this highly profitable farm project? Why is he calling a bamboo chicken coop a 5-star resort? And what lies behind DM's anxious tears as she counts their last few pennies late at night? All will be revealed in today's episode, full of blood, sweat, and radiant smiles. The former CEO's startup plan, turning SimHill into a billion-dollar farm and a 5-star resort chicken coop. Before we get started, if you admire the intelligence and sheer resilience of Toan and DM, please smash that like button and hit subscribe right now to keep their fire and motivation burning. And now let's get into the story. Early morning on SimHill. Fog still clung to the forest canopy, but inside the wooden house, smelling of fresh varnish, Toan had already been up for a while. The bandages on his right arm were off. The stitches had healed into a long scar running down his bicep, a testament to the sacrifices he'd made for their home. Toan sat by the Japanese wooden table next to the window taking a sip of bitter green tea. In front of him wasn't a laptop or a tablet, but a hastily torn calendar page and a pencil stub. His gaze was sharp and intensely focused, exactly how he used to look when running the most stressful board meetings. Numbers, arrows, and charts detailing costs and profit margins were sketched out swiftly. DM walked up from the kitchen carrying a plate of steaming boiled sweet potatoes. Seeing her husband deep in thought, she peeked over his shoulder curiously. "What are you sketching now?" "We just finished fixing the house, or are you planning to add a loft?" Toan laughed, pulling his wife down to sit beside him. "The house is perfect as it is, honey, but we can't just live off boiled sweet potatoes and wild foraged greens forever. I'm drawing up the Q3 business plan for our SimHill Corporation right here." DM chuckled at her husband's playful tone. "What corporation? A 2-member corporation with a starting capital of $0. Toan tapped his pencil against the calendar, his face turning serious. "It's true, our capital is thin. Our vegetables won't be ready to harvest for over a month and produce prices fluctuate wildly. To generate quick cash flow for the long game, I've made a decision. We're going to start a free-range chicken farm for both eggs and meat." Hearing this, DM was startled. She waved her hands, her brow furrowing. "Oh my God! Toan, raising chickens isn't easy. One disease outbreak and we lose absolutely everything. Plus, where's the money to buy chicks and feed that house? Renovation completely drained our pockets, honey." Toan gripped his wife's calloused hands tightly. His determined gaze transferred a strange sense of strength to her. "Do you trust me? I might have lost my memory and my fortune, but no one can steal the business mindset inside my head. Free-range chickens have firm meat and delicious eggs, and the demand in town is incredibly high right now. If we follow the right procedures and strict disease control, this will be the golden goose that revives our finances. But before we bring these employees home, you and I need to build them a spectacular headquarters." Seeing the blazing fire of passion in Toan's eyes, DM knew she couldn't stop him. Besides, she believed in him. If a man could build this dream house with his own bleeding hands, there was no reason he'd fail with a flock of chickens. DM gave a firm nod. "All right, I'm with you. You're the CEO and I'm the worker. Boss, give the order. What are we doing today?" To keep costs strictly at zero, Toan decided against buying expensive materials. He fully utilized what Mother Nature on Sim Hill provided: large slender bamboo stalks, palm leaves, and a few scraps of wood left over from the house renovation. Right after breakfast, the couple grabbed their machetes and headed up to the bamboo grove behind the hill. The sharp thwack of machetes striking bamboo echoed through the forest. Even though Toan was still recovering from his injury, his masculine strength, fueled by sheer willpower, made him work tirelessly. He chopped down the oldest, thickest bamboo stalks to use as support pillars. Meanwhile, DM quickly cut down the smaller, slender bamboo, stripping the leaves and gathering them into large bundles. Sweat soaked through their shirts. Bamboo dust stuck to their necks, causing a stinging itch. Toan hoisted a heavy bundle of bamboo onto his shoulder, stumbling slightly on the steep hillside. Seeing her husband panting with a flushed face, DM ran up to help him. "Here, let me carry half of that. Your arm just healed. If you push too hard, you'll tear your stitches." Toan gritted his teeth and shook his head. "It's okay, I've got this." Managing a corporation was a much heavier burden than this bundle of bamboo. "Just go ahead and clear the path for me." Back at the empty plot of land next to the house, which Toan had already cleared and sprinkled with disinfecting lime powder, the day before the construction site for the 5-star chicken resort officially began. Construction officially began. Toan didn't just randomly stick posts into the ground like a typical country chicken coop. He carefully used a measuring tape and pulled strings tight to square off the corners, acting exactly like an engineer building a villa. Toan, DM, hand me the saw. We need to cut the legs perfectly even. I designed this coop to be elevated 50 centimeters off the ground. The mountain climate is cold and dewy at night. If the chickens sleep on the dirt, they'll die easily. A raised floor like this keeps them cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and makes it super easy to clean up the droppings. DM's eyes widened in amazement. She had been farming since she was a kid, and her family used to keep a few free-range chickens. But the concept of building a stilt house for chickens was a first for her. Under Toan's direction, the couple sawed and hammered away. Toan used bamboo mortise and tenon joints instead of iron nails to avoid rusty metal scratching the chickens' feet. Thin bamboo stalks were split in half, crushed flat, and woven together to create incredibly sturdy yet breathable wall panels. The sun reached its peak and gradually slanted west. Both of their faces were smeared with mud and sawdust, but the laughter never stopped. "All right, Director Toan, take a sip of water. Director, you must be thirsty. Your chicken coop is looking better than some people's houses." DM teased, handing her husband a mug of iced Cleistocalix tea. Toan chugged it down, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and looked at the towering frame of the chicken coop with radiant pride. "Just you wait. Tomorrow, when I finish roofing it with palm leaves and install the automatic feeding system, these chickens will be living better than royalty." On the morning of the second day, the roofing and detailing began. Toan climbed onto the roof, swiftly overlapping layers of palm leaves. He created a very steep pitch so that during heavy rain the water would run off quickly without causing leaks or mold. But what made DM's jaw drop in pure awe was the inside of the resort. Instead of scattering feed on the ground where the chickens would trample it and get sick, Toan sawed large bamboo tubes in half to create long feeding troughs running the length of the coop. Even more brilliant, he took several discarded large plastic bottles, poked tiny holes in the bottom, and hung them upside down over the water troughs. Toan explained proudly, "Look at this. This is an automatic drip irrigation system. As the chickens drink, water from the bottle drips down. It'll never overflow and soak the floor, and we won't have to worry about chicken droppings contaminating the water. Plus, we save the labor of scrubbing the troughs every single day." DM clapped her hands, looking at Toan with eyes shining as if looking at a genius. "Oh my God, my husband is a genius. You went from CEO to Professor of Agriculture. At this rate, the egg sellers at the district market are going to be out of a job because of Director Toan's farm." Toan jumped down from the coop floor, wrapped his arms around his wife's waist, and lifted her into the air, spinning her around. You know it. Everything I do has a clear strategy. We don't have billions to buy high-tech machinery, but we have brains. I will prove to you that from this bamboo coop, I will buy you the most expensive cars. For the night, and a nesting area lined for the night, and a nesting area lined with golden straw for laying eggs. Everything was optimized, professional and aesthetically pleasing, a stark contrast to their current poverty. That night the bright moon shone through the glass arch of the wooden house. The atmosphere inside was heavy, suffocatingly quiet. In stark contrast to the joy of the day, DM was now sitting cross-legged on the bed, holding a tin cash box in her lap. Inside were crumpled small bills, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 dong notes. She smoothed out every single bill, counting them over and over carefully. Toan sat opposite her, silently observing the anxious look on his wife's face. Our entire life savings is exactly 3,200,000 dong, $130. DM looked up at Toan, her voice trembling. Buying 100 chicks will cost almost 2 million. The first month's feed is over 1 million. Basically, when we come back from the market tomorrow, we'll be completely broke. What if? DM didn't dare finish her sentence. The fear of a poor woman used to living hand to mouth began to consume her mind, betting their last bit of living expenses on a flock of chickens. If a disease hit, what would they put in their mouths? Seeing his wife's shoulders shake, Toan moved closer. He reached out, enveloping DM's hands, which were still gripping the small bills. His hands were incredibly warm and steady. DM, look at me. Toan said, his voice deep and resolute. DM raised her teary eyes to look at him. In business, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. But I'm not a gambler. I take calculated risks. I've thoroughly researched the preventive vaccines, and I found a source of clean feed to mix with corn to cut costs. Don't be afraid of going broke. Worst case scenario, we go back to square one, and I'll go back to the forest to chop wood to feed you. But if we don't take a step forward, we will bury our youth in this poverty forever. Toan reached out and wiped away the tear threatening to spill from the corner of DM's eye. I built this house and I will raise this flock of chickens. You entrusted your entire life to me, so trust me one more time. I'm putting my life on the line to protect this investment for our family. Toan's sharp yet deeply affectionate words acted like a tranquilizer, instantly dissolving all the fear in DM's heart. She nodded vigorously, wiping her tears and smiling. Yes, I trust you. Tomorrow we'll wake up super early and go to the district market to welcome our new employees to their posts. Foundation of hope for the future. The stormy past had faded away. Sim Hill was now filled only with honest sweat and future plans bursting with laughter. However, once you have a coop, you need chickens. Tomorrow morning, the former fire-breathing CEO will take a joyride down to the district market to buy chicks with his own hands. Imagine the scene: a CEO who used to sign million-dollar contracts now standing in the middle of a country market, flipping chicken wings, inspecting chicken feet, and haggling over every penny with the local aunties. There are bound to be countless hilarious situations. Will Toan get ripped off by the seasoned poultry vendors? And what kind of elite employees will they bring back to their 5-star resort? In the early dawn, while dew still clung to the rose petals on the porch, Toan was already awake. Today was the big day. He wore an old frayed plaid shirt with the sleeves neatly rolled up, revealing the white bandage on his right arm. Despite his simple attire, his demeanor still exuded an unusual poise. DM was busy stacking some old bamboo cages in the yard. She turned to go inside and saw her husband sitting thoughtfully at the table, his left hand scribbling away in a small notebook. DM approached curiously. Are you calculating debts again? Just relax your mind and enjoy the trip to the market, honey. Toan looked up gently, sliding the notebook toward his wife with an incredibly serious expression. No debts, honey. This is the job description JD and key performance indicators KPI for our new staff. DM stared wide-eyed at the paper. Toan's left-handed writing was a bit messy, but the content was clearly bulleted. Position core egg-laying hen. Quantity 15 personnel. Appearance requirements. Smooth feathers hugging the body, bright red comb, tilting to one side, golden yellow legs, wide pelvis indicating good fertility. Core competencies: agile, big appetite, minimum KPI of 5 to 6 eggs per week. Discipline: no pecking colleagues, no destroying nests. DM finished reading and burst into fits of laughter, tears streaming from her eyes. Oh my God, you are cursed with the boss mentality, Toan. We're just going to the market to buy some speckled hens, and you're treating it like recruiting a vice president. If the chicken vendors hear you read this manifesto, they'll chase you away with a broom. Toan laughed, folding the notebook and slipping it into his breast pocket. Business requires procedures, honey. Buying the wrong breed means losing money right at the starting line. Come on, madam, hold the money. I'll be your driver on this head-hunting trip. The beat-up airblade fired up, carrying an empty bamboo cage and 2 hearts full of joy cutting through the morning mist straight toward the district market. The district market on the 5th of the month was packed. The clucking of chickens, quacking of ducks, and squealing of pigs blended with the sounds of people laughing and haggling, creating the vibrant signature soundtrack of a peaceful countryside. The muddy ground was dotted with puddles from last night's rain, scattered with stray straw and trash. If this were the Toan of 2 years ago, he definitely would have frowned, pinched his nose, and never set foot in such a damp place. But the Toan of today was thoroughly enjoying it. He held DM's hand tightly, weaving through the thick crowd. If someone bumped into him, he just smiled and nodded an apology. DM leaned close to her husband, gently reminding him, "Be careful, honey, don't let anyone bump your arm. The poultry section is way at the back of the market. It's a bit dirty, so just bear with it." Toan gave her hand a light squeeze. "The smell of chicken and pig manure is the smell of money, the smell of life, DM. Back in the day, my office was sprayed with expensive perfume, but all it smelled of was deceit and lies. I like it much better here." They arrived at the poultry section. Dozens of chicken cages were stacked close together. The female vendors, chewing betel nut and fanning themselves with conical hats, called out warm greetings. Toan scanned the area like a falcon hunting for prey. Finally, his eyes locked onto a cage of crossbred re-chickens belonging to a fierce-looking woman in her 50s. Every single chicken in that cage had feathers as sleek as if they'd been oiled, moving around nimbly. "Here they are. The bright candidates for our corporation right here." Toan whispered in DM's ear, then pulled her forward. Seeing the young couple approach the husband wearing a frayed shirt but with a bright fair face, the hallmark of someone who doesn't work the fields, the vendor clicked her tongue, thinking to herself, "Fresh meat. City folks coming to the country probably don't know a thing about prices." She enthusiastically pitched, "Are you two buying chickens? My young hens are 100% grain-fed, lay eggs constantly, and the meat is perfectly firm. If you buy the whole cage, I'll give you a deal, 180,000 dong, $7 a kilo." Hearing the price of 180,000 per kilogram, DM jumped quickly, tugging Toan's shirt. "That's too expensive, honey. Miss Thin at the end of our alley sold them for 130,000 the other day. Let's go to another stall." But Toan stood still. With his left hand, he opened the cage door in an incredibly professional manner, grabbed a speckled hen by both wings, and hoisted it up. He blew lightly on the feathers under its breast to check the skin thickness, squeezed the pelvic bones, and looked straight into the chicken's eyes. Toan smiled. His calm but decisive voice rang out instantly, shattering the vendor's calculations. "Ma'am, your chickens are indeed crossbred, and they look beautiful. The comb is bright red, and with a pelvis this wide, she's ready to lay. But you said they are 100% grain-fed. I'm sorry, but the breast is a bit thin, and the skin has an oily sheen like this, meaning you mixed in commercial feed during the fattening stage. Not to mention today is the 5th market day, and I did a quick count. Across this whole area, there are up to 40 cages of chickens waiting to be sold. Supply is currently exceeding demand. The chicken vendor's eyes widened. She stopped chewing her betel nut, staring blankly at this kid in a frayed shirt who was analyzing the market. Toan continued his psychological attack. Besides, the price of corn feed is dropping this month, and the bird flu outbreak in the next commune is making people hesitant to buy whole flocks. If you shout 180,000 a kilo, you'll probably just haul them to the market and haul them right back home. I'll take 15 birds off your hands, bulk buying, large quantity, no endless haggling. Final price 135,000 per kilo. You nod, and I open the cage to catch them. If not, I'm heading over to Ms. Moy's stall over there. Her chickens aren't as pretty, but her price is only 120. The entire poultry section suddenly went dead silent. The neighboring vendors stared wide-eyed. Toan's words were as sharp as a razor, hitting the seller's psychology perfectly. He praised the product, presented market evidence, and delivered an incredibly cold-blooded sales close. This was $1 million contract negotiation skill shrunk down to fit a chicken cage. The vendor slapped her thigh loudly and let out an exasperated sigh. God bless you. You look like a scholar, but you're shrewd as hell. Fine, I surrender. Consider this my first sale of the day for good luck. Go on, catch them. 135,000, and don't you dare ask for a penny less. DM stood beside him, heart eyes glowing, admiring her husband to the core. She quickly pulled out the neatly flattened wad of small bills to count. 15 sleek feathered hen employees were rounded up and put into the bamboo cage on the back of the airblade. A resounding, unexpectedly successful deal. The sun began to climb higher. The couple joyfully drove their cage of chickens home. Toan steered, mostly using his left hand, resting his right lightly on the handlebar, while DM sat behind holding the cage. You're really amazing, Toan. I'm so impressed. DM smiled and praised from the back seat. Of course, when a CEO goes chicken shopping, it's gotta be on another level. Toan boasted back, his heart swelling with pride. But man proposes, God disposes. The old bamboo cage DM borrowed from a neighbor had a loose bamboo tie in one corner. The bike hit a bumpy stretch of road and bounced violently. The tie slipped off, creating a gap. And just like that, the most quick-witted speckled hen squeezed through the gap, flapping her wings wildly, and flew straight out. "Ah, Toan! The chicken is flying! A chicken escaped!" DM screamed. Toan slammed on the brake with a screech and put his foot down. The young hen, having just escaped the cage, was running for her life toward the cornfield by the road. Without half a second of thought, the former fire-breathing CEO ditched the motorbike right there on the road. He channeled all his strength into his legs and sprinted after the chicken like a true track and field athlete. "Stop right there! Hey employee, how dare you quit before signing the contract?" Toan yelled as he ran. The terrified chicken dove straight into a thick bush. Toan lost his momentum and crashed right into the foliage. Thud! He fell face first into a pile of dry grass and mud, but his left hand still managed to firmly grab the tail of the squawking chicken. Having parked the bike, DM ran over in a panic. "Honey, are you okay? Your face is all scratched up." Toan scrambled to his feet. His clothes were smeared with red mud. His stiff hair was full of goosegrass. A long streak of mud ran across his face. Fortunately, his bandaged arm didn't hit anything. But his left hand held the struggling speckled hen high in the air, his mouth breaking into a wide grin, flashing his white teeth. "I got her! How could you escape the manager, huh?" Seeing her husband's pathetic but incredibly smug appearance, DM couldn't hold it in anymore. She clutched her stomach and laughed hysterically until tears rolled down her face. Toan looked at his wife, then back at the chicken, and burst into hearty laughter too. On that deserted country road under the golden sunlight, the couple's crisp, clear laughter chased away all the distance between their glamorous past and their toiling present. Back at Sim Hill, the Chicken Corporation was officially handed over to its headquarters. Toan carefully opened the cage door. 15 bewildered young hens stepped out. Feeling the sturdy bamboo floor, the cool and airy space, and especially the feeding troughs overflowing with golden grain, the flock immediately began clucking, happily scrambling to peck at the grain with a satisfying clack-clack. Toan and DM stood leaning against each other outside the coop netting, watching the busy flock. The small garden patch in the back had already been hoed loose, just waiting for composted chicken manure to sow the first seeds of mustard greens and amaranth. Toan held his wife's calloused hand. DM starting a business is a bit tough, and sometimes you get a few bumps and bruises, but seeing them eating so happily makes me really glad. It won't be long before we have a full basket of eggs to take to the market. DM rested her head on Toan's shoulder, whispering, "As long as we are united, we can do anything, honey. You worked hard today. Let me go boil a pot of old coriander water for you to bathe." Kitchen smoke once again began to curl up from the small window of the wooden house. The flock of chickens had settled into their straw nests. The roses fluttered in the evening breeze. A new life, simple, pure, and overflowing with love, was truly sprouting and blossoming on the soil of Sim Hill. Dear viewers, from a billion-dollar deal in a glass boardroom, it has now become an intense chicken buying negotiation in the middle of a country market. From a CEO driving a luxury car, he is now ready to roll in the mud just to catch an escaped chicken. Toan has completely shed the arrogance of his past to embrace the simplest happiness beside his devoted wife. The Sim Hill garden now has the clucking of chickens and soil beds waiting for seeds. Will their first batch of eggs arrive smoothly? And what marketing strategy will Toan apply to sell those eggs at double the normal price? Don't miss the incredibly fun and inspiring developments in the next episode, the first basket of eggs and the former CEO's $0 marketing campaign. Thank you for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the latest videos. Wishing you a day full of joy.
Sẽ bảo vệ con bé.